book fans, welcome to another exciting edition of Cammy's Comic Corner. I'm your host as always, Cammy. Now, big announcement before we start up with the reviews this week. Geeky Talkie, which is the audio spin-off of Cammy's Comic Corner, where I just talk various topics of geeky interest with friends who stop by to discuss, is now available on iTunes. So if you want to help support me out, go on iTunes, write a review, subscribe to both Cammy's Comic Corner and Cammy's Comic Corner Geeky Talkie. You'll be glad that you did. But now on to the books to talk about this week. We do not have a pick of the week, unfortunately, but we do have a nice little snuggy Fast Five. So let's get right into that Fast Five. First up, from Dynamite, we have The Boys, number 43. Now, this is the end of the Innocence story arc, and Mother's Milk has just discovered that Huey is not working for Vought American like Butcher claims he is, because he saw Huey and his girlfriend, figured out the girlfriend was one of the seven, thought there was a little conspiracy going on. Well, there's not. Meanwhile, back at the Super Duper headquarters, Mal Chemicals finally just decided to take charge, and he's going to make all these this little super team of all these stupid retarded kids his. But Huey can't let this happen, goes in to confront him, there's a fight. Huey has nothing on Mal Chemical, as he's just getting tortured, slashed to pieces. And so Butcher comes in and saves the day after having a talk with Mother's Milk, sets Mal Chemical on fire, done with. Now it's going to be interesting to see where it goes from here, but now they know Huey is in fact with the boys. He's not a double agent, as Butcher suspected. Good stuff. My only qualm is, this issue was $3.99. Every other issue of the boys has been $2.99 up until this point. So on the last issue of this arc, they upped the price. That's kind of fucked up in my opinion. At least wait for another story arc to start before you do stuff like that. Just my opinion. Next up from Image, we have Four Eyes, number 4. Now, it's been a while for Four Eyes to be slowly coming out. This issue finally came out after a couple-month hiatus. We have Abraham Fox, who is kind of the wrangler of all the people to go flush out the dragons, to get the dragon eggs. He's mad and pissed that he let Enrico die. He doesn't want to give up hope that the kid's still down there in that cave, but he needs to get off his conscience to just move on, just to go find the body, because the body was never found. So he goes down into the cave, they find the dead mom dragon, they find a cut rope, which makes him remember that for later on, and then they find Enrico down in the poop pit with a baby dragon. They're kind of keeping each other warm. Well, after saving Enrico, he's about to put 2 in the baby dragon's skull because it's a runt, no one wants it, but Enrico convinces him otherwise. And so now, up until this point, they're going to be no longer hunting dragons, but they're going to be training this dragon. And they're going to call him Four Eyes because, as Enrico says, he has tenacity. Gorgeous art by Max Fumara. Joe Kelly's really gripping you. Even though it's been months between issues, you still feel like you know and love this character and this series. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in his second act. Next up from Marvel, we have Atlas number 2. Now, the 3D man has made it down into Atlas's headquarters, even faces Lau the dragon, and he's about to get his shit rocked before the team comes to brisk him off safely and investigate and share their history with them on how they came to be. And, you know, for new readers, this is a nice little jumping on point, seeing the history of the entire team. Afterwards, Bob, the Plutonian, goes through Reynolds' thoughts just to check out what visions he's been seeing, and all of a sudden, all the other Atlas members, they start remembering, slowly but surely, the occurrence in the graveyard against, like, the zombie maker. And so they're all thinking, well, that's kind of weird. And they're interrupted by a call from one of the other Atlas headquarters in Iceland. Apparently there's some underground team that has come up to the surface, and they're kind of rebelling against the system. So Atlas has been called in to take care of it. 3D Man joins them, and he's kind of feeling a little cozy on this team. So we might be seeing the 3D Man join Atlas. I think me personally, would be a good little meet-up, team-up, what have you. It'd be a good addition, as it were. But good stuff. I'm loving Gabriel Hartman's art on this. It is just gorgeous. Sets the right tone. And, you know, Jeff Parker, what can I say? The guy knows Atlas. He obviously loves these characters, and he's going to make you love them after reading this issue. Next up from Image, we have The Walking Dead number 73. Now, Rick and Glenn have a plan. They don't like not having any firearms on them in this community. So their little plan is they're going to take a couple guns. Not going to let anyone know. And so Glenn's duty is to find out where the armory is, find out a way to get back in which he does. He unlocks a window, and then him and Rick take a couple guns. Now, almost everyone in their little group has a gun, just in case anything goes down. They'll have it right there on their side. So, I don't know if it's a trust thing, or, they just don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. That's really, gone against them in the past. And while this is going on, Abraham, the big strong guy who joined their group, he's working construction, and he's not really sure he likes the way that they're running the construction group. They're willing to let members of their own team die, and he just goes all commando, all Steven Seagal on the zombies' asses. By the way, we finally get great big zombie fight in this issue. I know a lot of fans have been wondering where the hell are the zombies. It's called The Walking Dead, right? Well, you get zombie gore and violence in this issue for sure. It was very action-packed, very gripping, good stuff if you're a Walking Dead fan. And finally this week from Boom Studios we have Darkwing Duck #1. I don't know about you, but I loved this animated series growing up. It had all the classic humor, all the action of a crime-fighting superhero who happened to be a duck. And he is the terror that flaps in the night. But when this issue opens up, he's no longer the terror that flaps in the night. He's kind of gone underground. He's becoming a normal working Joe, working at Quackworks, but has a nice time remembering times past of fighting villains like Megavolt and saving the city time and time again. But it's just, he's in this mundane job as an accountant. There's no longer any need for superheroes because of these crime bots everywhere. But he kind of has a feeling that this isn't the best solution for the city, that the crime bots might be a little bit too overenthusiastic. So kind of think of OCP and RoboCop when you're reading this, only with Disney, ducks and animals of that sort. At the end, one of the a lot of crime bots invade his house to take away Honker because he was illegally downloading music, and that's punishable by years and years. You're all eternity in prison. So that's the last straw. So now we're going to see Darkwing Duck return, and while all this is going on, all of his greatest villains, like Megavolt and others, are coming together to form the ultimate supervillain team. So it was great fun. If you remember Darkwing Duck, pick up this series. It's going to be great. I just have a feeling in my gut. Thank you, Boom Studios, for resurrecting one of my fondest childhood memories. Well, that's it this week for Cammy's Comic Corner. If you want more Cammy's Comic Corner goodness, head on over to www.cammyscomiccorner.com. From there you can subscribe to us on iTunes, go subscribe to Geeky Talkie on iTunes, read the Book of the Month reviews, see the interviews I've done, and go chat on the forum about it. Also, if you like any of the kick-ass t-shirts that you see me wearing, head on over to deadlinegraphics.net. Kelly's deal for the month of June is 25% off everything. So with a deal like that, you can go get your custom-made t-shirts, your comic book t-shirts, whatever you want. There's only one name that I trust when it comes to comic book t-shirts, and that's Kelly at deadlinegraphics.net. And another shout-out to Rising Sun Creations at rsc-online.com. They specialize in the best of U.S. comic books, manga, and collectible toys imported straight from Japan. What's not to love? It all can be located at their store in Mission Valley, if you're in the San Diego area, or on their online store at rsc-online.com. Thanks again for being my sponsor. So, that is it this week. Sorry that it's a day late, but Father's Day has happened, and, well, I'm kind of a father myself. I have hundreds of illegitimate children, and I don't really want to know any other names because of one word. Alimony! Not for me. So until next time, this has been Cammy's Comic Corner. I have been your host, Cammy. Go find your real father today. Hint, it's the milkman.